So, the talk has now started. Who will Daniel Dubois be fighting next and defending his IBF World Heavyweight Championship against? This is going to be interesting in my opinion because there's stuff going on about Anthony Joshua possibly not being ready to take the rematch. So, basically, the IBF have ordered Ajit Kabayel versus Martin Bacoli. And probably by that time, if the next defense isn't against Anthony Joshua, there's possible contenders who he could be fighting. So with Caballero versus Bacoli being an eliminator for who's going to be the next mandatory for it, I'm guessing they're out of the equation here. So I doubt it'll be either of them. So we've got Zili Zhang, Frank Sanchez, F.A. Adjabar, Filip Hrgovic, Derek Chisora, Otto Wallin, Fabio Wardley, Anderson, Vanello, and Hooney. So this is interesting. Obviously, no Joseph Parker as he's the mandatory at the WBO. It's a shame, to be fair, that Joseph Parker isn't in this because I think Parker really has earned a chance to be fighting Daniel Dubois, and I think the styles were matched very well as well. But it looks like Parker's next for Fury or Usyk, but I don't think it's the ideal or the best situation for him to be in because, I mean, who knows what Usyk's going to do if he beats Fury, and if Fury beats Usyk, then they're going into a trilogy. So it's an interesting one for Joseph Parker. It's not a great situation to be in. And also, if Fury does win, who would Joseph Parker, Joseph Parker wins actually end up fighting Fury? Anyway, probably not. Because they are good mates. But with Usyk, I mean, who knows where Usyk stands after the Fury fight. I mean, there's possibilities and talk of him possibly going into retirement. If not, though, I think Usyk versus Parker is a very interesting fight. But Parker could be out waiting a while for that one, possibly till next summer, which would mean Parker's out for over a year, which is not ideal for him at all. But anyway, for Daniel Dubois, who does he fight next? We're going to go through all these options. Who could be good? Who really makes sense? And yeah, let's go. So, Zili Zhang is the first option. Probably out of everyone, starting off with him, I think he's probably the ideal option for Daniel Dubois to fight. I think it's two very interesting styles. Zili Zhang, a good, interesting southpaw. Daniel Dubois is going to look. I mean, both guys have got real good heavy hands. Both guys are probably going to look to stand toe to toe and beat the absolute shit out of each other. I think that's an absolutely huge fight. To be fair. And if I'm being real, I actually think that could sell. I actually think that's a really intriguing fight for the British public, and I think the American audience could be interested as well. We'll have the Chinese audience, of course, involved. So I think Dubois versus Zhang is actually a very interesting fight. I mean, it wouldn't sell as well as what Fury Zhang would. It wouldn't sell as well as what AJ Zhang does, because at the end of the day, Dubois is nowhere near the level of name as what they are. But still, if Dubois can get through Zhang in a big fight, which will get some good attention anyway, it does keep on building the Daniel Dubois name. So, yeah, it's interesting. I think it's a good 50-50 fight, Zhang and Daniel Dubois. So, yeah, I would love to see that fight. I mean, that's the ideal one if it's not Joseph Parker, which it's not. So, get that involved. And then the winner of that gets Caballero or Bacoli in a great fight. Caballero Zhang's good. Caballero Dubois is good. Bacoli Zhang's a banger. Bacoli Dubois is good as well. There you go. Okay, next up we've got here Frank Sanchez. No, straight away. Took a loss to Ajit Caballero last time out. Didn't look great. Apparently he was carrying an injury into it as well. But look, you don't deserve a shot at the IBF world title if you're coming off a loss. I don't understand how Frank Sanchez is in the mix here. Needs a win before anything makes sense. And that fight, Dubois versus Frank Sanchez, does not sell whatsoever. So yeah, that makes zero sense if Daniel Dubois is to fight Frank Sanchez. I think Daniel Dubois will probably run straight from him as well. I think Sanchez is a decent boxer overall. He's got good skill and he can outbox you, but I can't see him keeping Dubois off him. Next up, we've got F.A. Ajaba. No, I mean he's came off a good last few wins. He's on a decent streak ever since his loss to Sanchez a few years back now. But he stands no chance against Daniel Dubois. He stands absolutely no chance against him. I mean, he is building a name. Ajaba is trying to build a name for himself in America. I mean, yeah, he is Nigerian, but he does seem to be trying to get a little bit more of an American audience behind him. That's what Top Rank are hoping anyway, because they're heavyweights. America's heavyweights are basically all dead now. Whether they're all dead in the water. But at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, it's not. This makes no sense. Dubois and Ajaba, and no, it's not really going to interest many people, is it? It won't even interest us hardcores, really. Okay, next up, Filip Hrgović. Dubois has already beat him. Why is Hrgović even in the mix here of possible opponents? This is everything that Michael Benson has said, by the way. Why is Filip Hrgović even on this? Next up, we got Derek Chisora. I mean, it's a British clash, of course, Dubois and Derek Chisora, but Dubois runs through him at this point. It's not even a close fight. It sells in the UK 100%. I don't think it sells all over the world. It's just a good fight for the UK fans, really. It'll be entertaining. Chisora's good at making fights entertaining, but it's obvious that Dubois is going to win. So it's like, who cares? Okay, next up, we've got Otto Wallin. I don't even get why he's an option here. Came off a massive loss to Joshua where he got absolutely dominated. Came back, got a win against a lower level name. But it's like, what's Otto Wallin done to deserve a title shot? Absolutely bloody nothing. So what's the point of Otto Wallin being here? What is the point? Anyway, there we go. I mean, he cause Dubois an issue. Like, he's a southpaw, but I mean, no. Okay, next up, Fabio Wardley. This is actually an interesting one. Fabio Wardley, British champion right now. Great for the British audience, of course. It could be a good fight, or it could be completely one-sided to Dubois' way. Fabio Wardley could be very ready for it. I mean, he's got power. He's got big power in his hands, as he's proved. You know, he's got what is he, 18 wins, 17 knockouts, I think. So it's like, Wardley's got big power, but I don't think he's got the skill to keep Dubois off him right at this moment in time. Dubois got that experience over him. Wardley, I think needs a few more fights before he gets a world title fight. But again, though, it does intrigue a good audience, in my opinion. Daniel Dubois versus Fabio Wardley. So I'm going to be fully against it. But as of now, I don't think it's a great fight for Fabio Wardley to take to be against Daniel Dubois. But it does interest people. So there you go. Next up, we got Anderson. No, lost his last fight. Got battered by Martin Piccoli. What's he done to deserve a shot? Nothing, so don't even bother with that. Next up, we got Vanello coming off a good win over Makhmudov. I think Vanello's good, but he doesn't deserve the shot. No way. That's all you can say. He's a good overall boxer. He can box well. He has got some good hands on him as well. Puts his shots together well, but no, he's not ready for Daniel Dubois. No chance. And then next up, we got Justice Hooney. He'll be ready one day, but as of now, you don't want to see Justice Hooney take the fight just yet. I feel like he needs to build his name up a bit more. I mean, obviously, he was on Knockout Chaos. He's building up his name more. Had a good win in Australia a few months back. But no, I think Justice Hooney needs to build up his name more. I think he has got a fight in December anyway, though. But, Justice Hooney, what he needs to do, needs to stay active, needs to keep doing his thing. Build his way up, and he can get something one day. He's got a bright future, but he's not ready for Daniel Dubois just yet. Okay, and then obviously Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua, but it's looking more unlikely as the days go by now that Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua is going to happen. But I mean, I think the rematch could be closer than the first fight. But yeah, if I'm being real, I'd want to see Daniel Dubois up against Zhang, or out of all the names we got up against Zhang, probably number one. Then Anthony Joshua probably, or Zhang, Zhang or Joshua just do, I think, and then fight the winner of Caballero versus Bacoli. That's what I think should be next for Daniel Dubois. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll speak to you on in a bit.